the Dean Smith Center with a sellout crowd of over 21,000 to see number 22 Georgia Tech against number 4 North Carolina. The Yellow Jackets have won the last 3 in the series. Travis Best, James Forrest and company hoping to become the first team to beat the Tar Heels 4 straight since 1975. Good evening, everybody. Mike Patrick, Dick Vitale. It's great to have you with us. One of the major reasons for that 3-game winning streak over this North Carolina club, the incredible performances of James Forrest. And Dick, he's healthy again. He's a dominant player again.
Well, I'll tell you, he's been sensational against North Carolina, Mike. Whenever he sees the blue, he gets on fire. He's averaged 20 points a game and 8 rebounds a game against North Carolina. Has been a dominant force. Tonight, however, he's going to have a real tough test, not offensively, but defensively. He has to check the Super South, Jerry Stackhouse.
And, of course, the strength of that Carolina team right now, Stackhouse and Wallace, the 2 sensational inside players. We'll be back with more from Chapel Hill after this. Welcome back to the Dean Dome in Chapel Hill. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for Georgia Tech under Bobby Cremins. Drew Berry leading the ACC in assists for the 2nd year in a row. The team has asked him for some more scoring this year, too. For Dean Smith and the Tar Heels, Donnie Calabria, their best outside shooter. In fact, he's number 1 in the ACC, hitting 57.1% of his 3-point shots.
I think Georgia Tech needs a solid performance out of Barry. Barry's got to really play well. In his first 8 games, he was on fire. He struggled a little bit in his last 5. He's got to shoot the ball a little bit more, Mike, rather than always trying to make the spectacular pass.
But when he does pass, you are right. Spectacular is the word. Calabria right down to Wallace. And when he gets a chance to dunk, the first thing you better do is get out of the area.
What great execution. That's a designated play, a set play. Excellent post play by Wallace, getting in nice and deep.
Alisma goes down to Forrest, kicks it back to Drew Berry.
Stackhouse trying to guard Forrest. Great box out.
Harpering, the freshman, knocks it down. He's averaging 11.2 points a game.
A tenacious competitor. Came out of Marist High School out in the Atlanta area. Undefeated in high school. A fierce competitor.
Alisma is guarding Wallace inside, so you might see him be a real factor early. Stackhouse working against Forrest.
I like the little guy best. A premier point guard, one of the best in America.
Forrest with his first jumper won't go. I think in Best and Berry, I think that's the best backcourt combination in the country, Dick.
Well, I'll tell you, don't argue a little bit down at Michigan State with Snow and Resper.
Those guys are pretty good.
When they play well, they really can play with anybody, Barry and Best.
Williams for 3, and that is a huge key for North Carolina. Donald Williams has never come back to his shooting form of 2 years ago.
Well, if you looked at his first 10 games last year, he averaged 20 points a game, shot 53% field goal, and then he was injured. You're right, Mike. He struggled after that.
And right now, only shooting 35.4%. That sophomore year, he hit 41-7.
I have some very revealing numbers about what he's done since those injuries from Gary McCann, the outstanding journalist from Greensboro, North Carolina.
Best with a shot clock at 5. He's one of the great players in the country, trying to make something happen one-on-one, but he lost it that time.
Oh, yeah, Stackhouse.
Spins out on him, and Best knocked it away to Berry.
Gave him the ball a little bit too late. Should have given it to him a little bit earlier. He could really run the floor.
Harpering for 3 and spins it home.
Well, Harpering's family came down here to see him. He has a football family.
Williams back the other way, misses the long-range jumper. Here's Best on the run.
We got an up-tempo game.
To Berry. Oh, he just blew in there.
What a nice play by Travis Best. Great decision for you young people. Gave up the rock right at the free throw line.
Georgia Tech with a lead, 7-5.
Lace them up. We're going to have a good one here tonight, Mike. You can just feel it.
This might go down in the annals of the great games between these two teams, and you throw in Duke in the mix, always brilliant. Stackhouse fouled on the way in. Alisma, I think, got him on the arm.
What a tough time they're going to have trying to match up on Stackhouse with his quickness. For Alisma, he's too quick. Now take a look at Travis Best in transition. There's the little dump off. Barry runs the angle, takes it up strong, converts. Comes from a great basketball family. His brother Scooter played at Kansas. Travis Best from out of Massachusetts.
Stackhouse in the last 4 games has hit 29 out of 31. That's 93%.
Also improved as a long-range shooter. Last year it was Brick City from three-point range. Dean Smith's guy, Jerry Stackhouse, last year was 2 for 20 from three-point range. This year he's up to 9 for 19.
Stackhouse, the #1 scorer in the ACC, coming off that MVP trophy in the Atlantic Coast Conference tournament a year ago.
That's amazing for a guy that didn't start most of the year. He's the MVP in the ACC. This Bobby Cremins, he's on fire. Had that big win over Duke.
Hey, Stackhouse may not have started, but he finished all of them, didn't he?
Oh, he's just a tough player.
Harpering over Calabria. Tough shot. Good defense, but the tip up on the backboard was Alisma. They're going to call him with a goaltender.
Well, you can't play with the ball up around the rim. He interfered up on the cylinder. That would count international basketball, but not on the United States basketball level.
I don't think Chapel Hill qualifies as international, do you? 7-7, 16:58 to go first half. Stackhouse trying to show some range and missed it badly, foul underneath.
I'm really surprised, Mike. They got the early entry into Wallace, and they forgot to go to him because I don't think Alisma could play him on the interior. I think that's a tough matchup, and I think they should establish Wallace right away down inside, because if you establish an interior game, it opens up the perimeter game.
And certainly Georgia Tech is not very deep if you have to go past the starting five.
Well, they've really never been. That's been a Bobby Cremins way of coaching. 7 players.
Harpering hits another turnaround jumper. He has 7 of Tech's 9 points. Here was a kid who always planned to play football, then grew between his junior and senior year in high school. Turned out to be a great basketball prospect.
He was a quarterback twice, the rookie of the week in the ACC's, played really well his last 4 games. He brings a toughness about him. He almost accepted a scholarship to Northwestern.
Let's go.
Watch Rasheed Wallace now. Here's Alisma now. This is an M&M'er. It's a mismatch. Look at him spin. He's going to spin and pin. He wants the rock. First play of the game. Look at him trying to establish post position. Alisma says, I'm not going to let you get the rock, big fella. Did a good job there, Alisma, beating him to the ball.
However, he picked up his 2nd personal foul, the 2nd team foul.
I would go right inside the Wallace. I'll post him down in that box.
And Carolina throws it away.
North Carolina, as we've told people on many occasions, not a very deep team, one of the thinnest teams Dean has had. Great starting 5. And Calabria, you know, still has a little ankle problems playing with the flu as well.
Here's Best with one of those one-on-one moves, then missed the shot. They keep it alive inside, but here comes Calabria.
That shot, not a good shot. They got to understand what a good shot is.
Georgia Tech goes to the zone.
They're going to play multiple defenses.
Williams free for a 3-pointer and drains it.
That's the Donald Williams that was the MVP in '93 in the Final Four against Kansas and Michigan, where he knocked down 10 threes.
6 points for Williams. North Carolina has the lead back. Forrest has only had the ball once down low. Jumper won't go for Maddox, who was checked in for Alisma. And here comes Carolina on the run again. McInnes. Williams, he's already hit 2 threes.
They really get it out in transition. Defensive transition becomes big in this game. You must get back. They're going to double up.
Wallace, fouled by Forrest.
I tell you, there's some great big players in this league. Wallace begging for the basketball. Wake Forest has got a dandy one, and Tim Duncan as well. Now look at Wallace inside. He says, come on, give me the rock. Look, I got great deep position. Get it to me. Post feeding. Feeding the ball in a post is a lost art. Guys don't know how to feed the post. 18.1 on a team that's very balanced. 9 rebounds a game. Been in a little bit of foul trouble.
Missed the first one.
Came out of that great program, Simon Gratz out of Philadelphia. They've produced so many outstanding players. Coach Ellerby in that program. He's got one now playing for Temple, Leonard Stewart.
In the ACC, North Carolina is dead last in free throw percentage, 63.9%. I don't know that that's ever been the case in Dean Smith's tenure.
That's really
not shot well.
They really get after the basketball and run it up the court quickly, trying to get numbers.
Williams slaps.
That is so reminiscent of a guy that played here, number 23. That's so reminiscent of Michael the Magician. He's acrobatic on the baseline. Jerry Stackhouse, a prolific scorer.
12-9.
He's a big-time player. Isn't he, Mike? Exciting a lot.
There are a half a dozen big-time players on this court tonight. Forrest way outside.
I don't know why James is trying to play on the outside with Stackhouse guarding him. He's got to slide inside and use his power and strength.
McInnes on the sideline. And we've got a timeout with 14:33 to go. First half of play. North Carolina leads over Georgia Tech 12-9.
Boy, how pretty that is. How pretty.
The ACC's been full of surprises this season. Clemson 10-0, ranked 18th in the country. NC State shocks North Carolina. How about Tim Duncan, 26 points, 20 rebounds against FSU. And Mike Krzyzewski sidelined with a back injury, so Pete Gaudette on the Blue Devil bench. And it's only January 11th. Stay tuned. We got 2 more months to go.
Best conference in basketball, top to bottom, every game an absolute dynamite matchup. Florida State struggling right now. Looks like Virginia's getting a little bit hot.
6 teams in the top 25, and it could be 7.
They're beating each other like you can't believe. Look at the field goal percentage right now. Georgia Tech 4 for 9. They got to give Forrest more inside, especially against Stackhouse. Make them play defense down in the box. Slide him inside.
Bad pass by Barry, a rare turnover. He leads the ACC with a 3.5-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio.
He's got great vision, really can pass the basketball. Only negative is he tries to make too many spectacular plays.
He says it's tougher with the freshmen because they don't expect them. It's the veterans that he can make those spectacular passes to. Williams, who looks like he has the field, but then misses a shot badly.
Travis Best is always under control. He's got great poise. Came out of Springfield, Massachusetts. Kentucky wanted him badly. If he ever was playing with Kentucky right now, they'd be #1 in the nation.
Forrest at the baseline.
Got to show some patience offensively. Got to be careful that everybody doesn't stand around, become the Kodak man while he plays with the ball and dribbles the rock.
His defense against him. Here's Maddox, 5 on the shot clock. Forrest will have to put it up the baseline. Harpering keeps it alive. Tip, and it's good. Maddox got it in.
They really like Maddox. They think he's got a future, the diaper dandy.
Oh, that's for a nice catch by Stackhouse, but it was knocked away by Forrest. Great play.
That looked like it was going to be Dunk City right there.
That was a gift, too, and he just stuck the hand out, got a fingertip on it. Maddox with a set shot. Over the back and out of bounds to Carolina.
Maddox had a great freshman and sophomore year, was really hyped in high school. They got a little bit bored. His senior year didn't have a great senior year, but now this year has given him a lot of positive minutes as a diaper dandy.
Been playing as their 6th man after he was alternating with Harpering at the start of the year.
Well, they lost Martise Moore, transferred, went out to Colorado, where he's hooked up with Joey Harrington, one of your buddies.
But he was more really of a perimeter player, so I don't think it really hurt him that much from their team standpoint. And here's another foul with Stackhouse takes the jumper.
Stackhouse really can get to that free throw line.
Coming up later tonight, in fact, it's a 9 o'clock start. The Miami Hurricanes against the St. John's Red Storm. That ought to be a weatherman's delight. The Hurricanes against the Red Storm. John Saunders, Clark Kellogg standing by. Both of those, Hurricane and Red Storm, may be downgraded to tropical depression the way things are going.
I'd have a tough time thinking about St. John's as the Red Storm. Look, Dean Smith, over 800 wins. Here's a look at Jerry Stackhouse this year versus last year. The minutes have certainly increased and his numbers have increased.
Don't you hate it, Dick, when they go around changing nicknames on you? You really can't keep track.
I'll tell you, Marquette, they drove us nuts over there.
Yeah.
The Golden Eagles.
Golden Eagles, no longer the Warriors.
I thought about them as the Warriors during the Al McGuire era, certainly.
13-11. Carolina by 2, 12:37 to go first half.
James Forrest, get inside, slide down in the box, post, use your big body.
Best has not penetrated very much. Here's the double team.
Forrest standing around, not very active.
Pass. Barry for 3. Forrest. Oh, did he get up for the rebound? Had it knocked off his hand out of bounds to Carolina.
They want Drew Barry to shoot the ball a little bit more. They want him to think about shot. But growing up as a youngster, playing with all his brothers, they pounded on him to pass the ball. He never got any shots playing with the gang down here. His one brother, John, in the NBA. Another brother playing out at Oregon State. Scooter is graduated, played at Kansas.
Of course, John played here.
Father was a fair player. What was his name?
Yeah, he wasn't bad. McGinnis in and out on a 3. Maddox with the rebound. Barry wants the ball for 3. Short. Forrest, another offensive rebound. Great pass inside, and Harpering scores.
What a great dish by Barry. He anticipated. He just didn't react. He anticipated. He was one step ahead of the action. Great eyes, great feel.
Harpering has 9, and it's tied again at 13. Nice Nice head fake by Pierce Landry, who's checked in for the first time. Calabria, great outside shooter, misses this one. Offensive rebound. Stackhouse tries to put it up with the right hand. And a foul inside on Wallace trying to follow.
And he knew it. He raised his hand. And in the past, he makes some facial gyrations, but that shows a little maturity right there by Rasheed. Just simply raised his hand, said that one was on me.
We've got a timeout, 11:26 to go first half. We're tied at 13. Look at that pass.
Right now, we look at, they're rotating. They got Wallace guarding Forrest. Now, if Wallace is going to check him, you'd like to slide him, as you and I were talking, maybe outside. Now, here's Forrest going to try to trip to the perimeter. He's got Wallace checking him. Wallace got great quickness. As Wallace now, all you man, sees both. Comes right up on him. It's a hand up. Got the good look with the jumper.
Forrest is 0 for 3, and remember, he is the guy who has averaged 20 points for his career against North Carolina in the last 3 games, all of which were when Carolina was ranked number 1. He's averaged nearly 25 points a game, so he's come up with the big ones in the big ones.
Maybe he doesn't like it that they're number 4. Maybe he likes it when they're number 1. He says, I can't play when they're number 4.
Well, right now, their number 22 is tied with number 4.
Good ball reversal, swinging the ball side to side.
Well, they got him down low. Kicks it back outside. Maddox, baseline jumper, missed it. Harpering kept it alive again and got it back. He's been extremely active.
Harpering really playing tough. He's an aggressive player. Brings a toughness to the team.
He'll try a 3. Got it!
He's amazing. When you think about a young guy that wasn't heavily recruited, nobody really wanted him in the early signing period except some football schools. Then came on strong. Georgia Tech signed him. Wake Forest wanted him at the end.
McGinnis ties it with a 3. Going back to Harpering. You know, Harpering, Bobby Cremins was worried that his freshman would come in here and be intimidated. He's got 12 points in the first 9 minutes.
Harpering's playing with so much confidence. He's one of those athletes that has winner on his chest.
He'll try another when you get the ball to a man with a hot hand. Forrest. He looks so smooth on that jumper. He just hangs in the air.
Just a matter of time. He's got great hands. Excellent touch. Has trimmed down a lot, too. Physically in great shape. Hired a personal trainer to work with him.
He looks a lot better, Dick. Lob it to Wallace. Muscles it up and got it.
They got to get the ball inside to him. He's unstoppable on the interior. There aren't many guys that have the size and the agility to match up with him down low.
Tied at 18, 9:53 to go. First half from Chapel Hill. Notice how they sag on Forrest and force him to the baseline. Keep him out of the middle. Zwicker in for the first time, and he'll get the rebound.
Zwicker's got to give him some positive minutes off the bench. If you can get Carolina to go to their bench, you get a real edge.
Got it to Rasheed Wallace again.
That's where it's got to go. Take it inside, and that'll establish some perimeter shots. It'll establish the wing areas.
Good ball movement. Wallace has scored the last 2 possessions, has 6 for the game. Carolina back on top.
They're going to double up.
Maddox got it for 3.
Going to get some shots from the perimeter because of Forrest's presence down inside. Kicks it back out, inside, outside, and Maddox delivers.
Try a little back door. Landry can't hold it, out of bounds.
Georgia Tech's got 2 good freshmen. When you talk Maddox, you talk Harpering. Look at the numbers this season. Tonight, we're looking at 17 points between both guys. They haven't been intimidated by the mystique of the Dean Dome. And there is a mystique. There's an awe. When you walk in, you come to the shootaround in the afternoon, you look at all those jerseys and all those banners. It intimidates me, Mike.
That's why he's 107 and 12 in this building. Bobby Cremins handed him one of those losses last year.
They won 33 of their last 34 here. Their only loss was when Fred Vincent went off for 8 3-pointers to beat him here. Fred Vincent ended up making the Hawks, and now he's playing in the CBA.
And, of course, the 3-point shot was what North Carolina State used to knock off North Carolina and Raleigh the other night.
Knocked down 14 for 38. Carolina was 2 for 15.
Best 3 for the shot. Missed it badly. Stackhouse with a rebound.
He should give it up and get it back. Give it up.
Landry on the wing.
There it is. Oh, he tried to get it back to him.
And he got it back off the skull of a defender. Landry not afraid to shoot it. Got the 3.
That's his strength. You know, he was a walk-on. He played in their Carolina, what they call their JV team. Ended up getting some serious minutes. A great student.
Phi Beta Kappa. 3.9 in biology.
Wow, that's what I was, Mike. Took me 4 years to get the 3.9.
Williams for three. CJ, a football player who just joined the team, in and out.
He's a running back. They think he'll have a great future in football. He's given him some minutes in the guard slot.
He was the leading rusher for the team, 562 yards in the last 4 games. Stackhouse wide open, Carolina by 4.
He has really improved his range as a shooter. He's become a much better facing player. He's an outstanding post-up player and a great baseline performer.
Hard to imagine 2 big sophomores like that anywhere else in the country. They're just great. What a tandem.
What a dynamic duo. They had some problems last year on his team. They don't like to admit it, but the problems were very simple for Dean Smith's basketball team. The fact of the matter is those kids knew they should have been playing, and the seniors knew that the seniors were looking over their shoulders at the young players.
7:45 to go in the half. Carolina by 4.
We're going to see a little vertical screen by Swicker to get Mr. Stackhouse right here open. We're going to watch him kick the basketball to the wing. Now watch a little down screen. Forrest has got to fight through this. Freeze it. See right here. Forrest has got to get over the top of that screen. Now watch this guy come right out here, catch the ball, and bang the jump shot. There he is, wide open. Forrest gets bumped on a screen by Swicker, and Stackhouse makes it pay. A little vertical movement up and down, and I just love Jerry Stackhouse.
Well, Serge ought to be able to set a screen at 7'2", 245, don't you think?
Well, that's a pretty big body. They got to get some positive minutes out of Serge and Landry.
Best, Forrest, and Berry a combined 2 for 9 so far. The 3-point shooting, Carolina with a slight edge. And if it's not for Harpering with 12 points and 2 rebounds, Georgia Tech be blown out of this building already.
It's amazing that they're hanging as tough without their big 3 really producing.
Forrest got the pass to Alisma, who checked back in the game, but he traveled.
That's been a real dilemma for Georgia Tech, getting some solid play in the lane. You know, Ivana Newbell, great story. He's made the NBA roster of Detroit Pistons.
25-21, North Carolina, 7:21 to go in the half. The biggest lead for the Tar Heels.
Very unselfish. They play so well together, North Carolina.
Williams bangs one off the glass. Here comes Berry, had it knocked away, but Best gets it back. Down the lane, comes to Forrest, reverse, missed the glass, but tipped it in.
And Alisma a little active right there. I guess he's trying to show us I can score. He gets him on the offensive boards.
He's a leaper inside. He's only 210 pounds. Best with an anvil in his pocket.
Best is doing a good job neutralizing McGinnis at that point slot.
Stackhouse for 3. Nearly got it on the second off. Wallace.
Sensational. I mean, what can the kid do? You're looking at a guy that's really like a power forward, Rasheed Wallace. He's got the long arms. He has a lot of Alonzo Mourning, that toughness.
8 points for him. Forrest with the left hand.
That's what I like to see. Jamin James taking it to the goal. He should be a double dipper. I mean, he should be a Baskin-Robbins special. Double dipper every night, points and rebounds.
You get 2 free scoops out of that?
And I'm not talking vanilla butter pecan ice cream either. I'm talking about putting some points down.
Here's Williams.
Get it inside to him. Right way.
Here's Wallace. Alisma just pushing him from behind. That's about all he can do. Williams with a runner. Got his own rebound. Landry, who hit a 3 from here just a moment ago. Wallace, unmolested underneath.
He's having a big night. He's getting great inside position. Remember, we've talked about it so many times. If you shoot from one side of the floor 75% of the time, the ball will come to the opposite side, and they work on that, and Wallace was in great offensive rebounding position.
Wallace has 10. The lead is 4. Forrest with a miss, and then Wallace lost it out of bounds.
We take Rasheed now trying to get established inside. Now here he is going to come from the offside. There's the quickness, the little finger roll. Count it. Tickle the twine.
29-25. Wallace 10 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists.
I think James Forrest is standing around a little bit too much. He's not active enough, and that's why he's not getting the number of shots that he really like and what Bobby Cremins would like. I think he's got to make Stackhouse really play on the defensive end, especially when the rotation has Stackhouse guarding him head-to-head.
6 turnovers against Georgia Tech so far. They're down by 4. Carolina with the ball.
We're going to try to slide Stackhouse to the base, pop him out to the wing.
McGinnis, Calabria, and Williams, really more of a 3-guard offense here. Williams for 3. Won't go. Got his own rebound again. Georgia Tech standing around after the missed shots. And this will be a 3-shot foul as Berry got McGinnis behind the line. with us Wednesday. The Panthers and the Wildcats of Villanova. That's a 7 o'clock start. And then Virginia against number 4 North Carolina. Will be right back here as the Tar Heels and the Cavaliers go at it. That's a week from tonight from Chapel Hill in the second game. Pitt and Villanova in game number 1.
Virginia's got a date today with Clemson, one of the real surprises in America, one of the 2 unbeaten teams along with Connecticut. Rick Barnes has done a phenomenal job, but as I said last night, I think he'd wish the season would end tonight because I think the honeymoon starts to end tonight, and they will have to really make an unbelievable drive, in my feeling, to get even to the NCAA dance before it's all over. They're not going to find it that easy to find 6 more wins in this league.
North Carolina's free throw shooting has got to be a matter of concern to Dean Smith. McGinnis shoots 57-1 from the line. Donald Williams is down at 67. Calabria at 61. Rasheed Wallace at 60.
That's incredible. You know, Dean looks like the 3C man. Calm, cool, and collected when you and I were talking to him today. Sitting there as relaxed as could be.
Biggest lead of the night for North Carolina, 31-25. McGinnis doing a nice job on Best.
What a great ball handler, Travis. Most guys would have lost that ball in that sequence.
Harpering has been on fire. Air balls this one.
Look at Wallace run the court. They got him as a trailer.
Stackhouse saved it to McGinnis.
They missed Wallace as a trailer. He was sprinting down the gut of the defense.
You sort of feel a streak coming here, don't you?
Well, they got that kind of look to him.
Calabria walk.
Calabria's still feeling that ankle injury. You know, people were screaming, upset, upset, major upset when North Carolina State beat them. When you win on your home floor, they play without Dante Calabria, who's got that ankle problem. It's no major upset when North Carolina and North Carolina State play head-to-head, especially at North Carolina State.
There's the turnover numbers, and this will be a blocking foul. Forrest may have gotten away with one against Stackhouse.
I think we're seeing more and more in college basketball. Winning on your home floor is almost getting to be expected. Last night, the St. Bonaventures with Massachusetts. There's the drive on the baseline. Look at Stackhouse trying to get the call, but doesn't beat him to that spot. It just beat him to the spot.
Non-shooting foul, the 4th team foul. Maddox wheels into the lane, missed it badly. Harper kept it alive. Blocked underneath.
Look at Forrest right there. Look at Wallace run the court. Oh, you can see it coming in. He was running. They love him in Tar Heel land. Rasheed, the monster jam. Hello.
He gets off the most awesome dunks. 12 points for Wallace. The lead is 8.
I just love the way he runs the floor. He's like a gazelle. But there's a push. Offensive foul. Best. Bobby Cremins might need a TO, baby, to settle down.
Best being frustrated by the defense of McGinnis and just shoved him out of the way that time. Timeout with 3:53 to go first half. Carolina has opened up the 8-point lead. And Dick, you're right. Watch Wallace block the shot and then watch the slam.
Here he is. Blocks the shot. Up and away. The elevator man. Hey, Mike, John, Clark, take a look at Wallace right here. He's going to come up here, and it's going to be rejection city. He's going to take the ball. As the ball goes to the goal, there comes Rasheed. Now, right here, there's the rejection. Now he's going to sprint up the court. Watch this right here. Freeze it right there. Now, watch this guy take off like a sprinter. I mean, watch him right now. Look at him run. He's running like you, Clark. Here he is. Now he sprints. He sees the opening of the defense. Up and away. Bang, bingo, mango.
The speed and agility he has is frightening. 12 points, 3 rebounds. He's hit all 6 of his field goal attempts tonight.
Many people say if he makes himself available for the draft, he could be the first player taken in the draft. I hope he comes back to school.
I hear that.
I know. I hope he comes back to school. But we're talking some serious knowledge.
Got some awesome talent. McGinnis with the ball as Georgia Tech goes back to the zone.
Give me a turnover. I said John and my guy Clark. It's Digger and Chris. I got it.
Calabria for 3. And North Carolina finding the range. 36-25, the biggest lead for the Tar Heels.
You can't allow Dante Calabria to get a clear look at the basket. You got to know the strengths and weaknesses of the people you're playing. Somebody's got to be in his face. That was too easy.
And Georgia Tech not getting any easy outside shot this time. McGinnis will be called for a hold. That's his first.
The big three have really been checked, Mike.
These are the guys that have to fuel this ball club. Forrest, Best, and Berry, a combined 6 points in the first half.
I mean, it's amazing. You're down only 11. You got 6 points out of the big three.
Yeah, you're right. They could easily be down 20. Here comes the trap. Best, very difficult to trap this guy. Superb ball handler.
Nice reversal. Had the wide open wing shot. They're doing a great job of taking away shots for Best.
Best feeds to Harpring. Clobbered underneath. Forrest got it. Fight for it. Tied up by McGinnis. And the possession arrow gives it back to Georgia Tech.
I think Travis Best has got to start to look for a shot. He had a big game in their win down at Georgia Tech last year. 27 points, 9 assists. I think right now he's trying to pass too often, and he's got to start to think about shooting the basketball. Get it, Travis. Look to shoot it, Travis.
McGinnis now out of the zone on the out-of-bounds play is at the point. Very great penetration. Harpring wasn't expecting it, and he traveled. Great pass by Berry, but as we told you earlier, it's the freshman that may not be waiting for him.
Exactly. They aren't aware. We take a look here. Look at the eyes. He knows exactly. He anticipates. Looks one way, drives it through. His dad was one of the greatest passers I ever watched on the NBA level, Rick Barry.
Drew Berry in the last 3 years has thrown some passes at Georgia Tech that have absolutely blown my mind. There's Stackhouse.
I mean, they're running a clinical offensively right now. They got great low post position to Stackhouse, who's got the tremendous lift down in the box. Got that great bounce.
North Carolina has scored the last 11 and leads by 13. Georgia Tech desperately needing a bucket here.
Well, right now you need a basket. Here's where Forrest has got to step up or Best. They got to really take charge.
Drew Berry trying to make it happen in the lane. He's short. Harpring got his hand on it again. Loose ball. Harpring missed the shot. He's missed his last 2 badly.
He's got Stackhouse, the trail man.
Williams for 3.
They're on fire. They're really playing well. I'm going to TO, baby. If I'm Bobby Cremins, get that timeout. Get that timeout or it'll be blowout city, Robert.
41-25. North Carolina has scored 14 unanswered points. Holy cow, what a streak.
They're really playing well offensively and defensively. Their execution in transition, their ability to get the high percentage shot, so well drilled by the Hall of Famer, the Michelangelo of coaching Dean Smith. What a great starting 5 they have, Mike. And what a team. I think they would even been an extra step above if Pat Sullivan was healthy. We're going to take a look at Donald Williams now. We said his numbers certainly have dropped off since last year when he was injured. Here he is going to the wing, runs right to the three-point line. He's got Stackhouse down inside, but it's NBN, nothing but nylon. Watch him square his body. When he squares his body, shoulders to the goal, there's the great release. Look at the rotation, the back spin, and there it is. It tickles the twine.
You know, Dick, if memory serves correctly, he has always shot the ball well against Georgia Tech, and isn't it strange how certain players seem to play so well against certain teams?
That's why we expected James Forrest to have a big game, and tonight he really disappeared.
Wallace, Stackhouse, and Donald Williams with 30 of the 41 points so far. Here's how the minutes played have changed. You would expect Calabria's to go up, and of course McGinnis because he has to take over the point. But here's what you were talking about earlier, Dick, the fact that Stackhouse and Wallace got 20 minutes a year last year. For freshmen in the Dean Smith system, that's almost incredible to be able to play 20 minutes. Now they're up over 30.
Well, because they really have such a thin, I think those minutes are even going to increase as we get in the ACC because against better competition, he's going to have them on the floor a lot more. The question is, can they sustain the kind of pressure they're going to face? And physically, can they endure that and have the stamina to be able to put together the kind of year people are anticipating? They're going to play a lot of minutes. Oh, they missed them right here. They had him wide open.
Maddox with Wallace back. Trial time. Try to take him one-on-one. Wallace intimidated him. Blocked from behind, and Wallace can't get to this one. Maddox with the score, and I think Wallace got hit in the face.
That was a great effort by Maddox. I mean, just a tremendous effort challenging Wallace.
He just wouldn't quit. I guess he hasn't read the press clip.
You know, I was thinking about Dean Smith, you know, Adolph Rupp has 870, 876. Dean only needs 65 to catch him. Here he is right now. Maddox is going to challenge. He's on a diaper dandy, but I'm going to take it right at you, you super south. I'm going to bring it right in your face, Rasheed. And then he misses. Now look, he comes back again. He gets it the second time. And he says, I'm going up a third time. Wallace got hit. He goes up the third time.
He has 7 points, and Harpering with a dozen. So the freshman not intimidated at all. It's the upperclassmen who are playing poorly tonight. Calabria out of the corner, and they are just turning up the Jets.
They got some great shooters on the wings. When Williams is feeling it along with Calabria, and then you establish an interior game with Wallace, a middle range game with Stackhouse, McGinnis on a point. That's a solid starting 5.
They become a lot better team than they were when Williams was shooting for them. Here's Forrest double teamed inside, and it looked like Stackhouse is going to get the foul. He will. It's his second. The Delta Faucet halftime report coming up. Chris Fowler, Digger Phelps, and boy, do we have news. The National Hockey League is back. It looked like he was gone for good.
Hooray, hooray, hooray.
And why is Clemson undefeated? Are they that good? What's going to happen? And Stephon Marbury, a feature on the young man who's just announced his intention to sign with Georgia Tech.
I tell you, they're so ecstatic. They're really unbelievably on cloud 9 as you listen. Wallace on the sideline. They're really going nuts at Georgia Tech with the commitment of Stephon Marbury, considered to be the best point guard in the United States, out of Brooklyn, New York.
Georgia Tech trying to get something going on offense here. They've really been shut down the last 5 minutes.
North Carolina rotates now in the zone, played really strong man-to-man most of the first half.
Harpering lost it as he went down the lane, then commits the foul trying to get it back.
Georgia Tech, you talk about an up-and-down team. In '93, they win the ACC tournament. James Morris dominates. Bobby Cremins was very honest with me on the phone yesterday. He said, I think we're a dangerous team. He said, but I don't know what team's going to come to play. They win the ACC tournament, and then they get beat by a good Southern University team coached by Ben Jobe in the first round. But you would think if you could beat the future national champs, you would be able to win your first round game.
It's been that way for a while, too. They'll have great games, beat the best teams in the country, and then turn around and lose to somebody you wouldn't expect. Calabria hits the free throw. He'll get another, and it's 45-27, Carolina.
You know, Bobby Cremins has developed 12 NBA first or second round picks, and I lost a little dinner wager to my buddy Brad Nestor. I said last night Georgia Tech had the most in the NBA. They did. They had 11 at one time. Well, recently Malcolm Mackey went to the sideline, and so did Fred Vincent, so they're down to 9, and Carolina has the most now in the NBA.
You losing a trivia bet. I can't believe. I know you won't pay for dinner. That's for sure.
There's a 2-3. I got a great trivia. I was telling you earlier. Dwayne Morrison. He's the guy that Bobby Cremins replaced. What do you think Dwayne Morrison's doing today? Today he is a caddy for J.C. Sneed. I know you follow that hockey. I mean that golf.
Travis Best. That's a big shot for him and for Georgia Tech as the clock winds down. Less than 3 seconds to go. Williams from way outside misses it. The first half has belonged to Stackhouse and Wallace for North Carolina. Combined 21 points and 6 rebounds, and the hot shooting Tar Heels lead it 46-30. And now for the Delta Faucet halftime report, here's Chris Fowler. Chris?
Mike and Vic, thank you. Those points, the first for Travis Best in the ballgame. Jeff McGinnis doing a great job shutting him down. Tar Heels lead by 16. As you heard the guys mention, the NHL season has been saved. On the 103rd day of the lockout, the Players Association leaders gave in to the final offer of the owners. The rank and file expected to rubber stamp that tomorrow, although many will do so grudgingly. A new 6-year agreement. The season expected to start late next week, expected to be 48 games with no play between teams from the various conferences. Camps expected to open Friday. A lot more in this story on SportsCenter following college basketball. We'll be continuing the Delta Faucet halftime report. We will talk about Clemson. 10-0, but will they struggle just to make the NCAA tournament, as Dick Vitale has already suggested? They are in action tonight. That plus the rest of the scores and highlights when Digger Phelps joins me right after this. At halftime, it's the Tar Heels big over the Jackets.
ESPN's coverage of NCAA basketball is brought to you by the Plymouth Neon. Say hello to the frisky new Plymouth Neon Sport Coupe. And by Payne Weber. We believe our most important investment is an investment in relationships.
Rasheed Wallace, who had a marvelous game first half of play. 46-30 North Carolina over Georgia Tech at the half. And if you had not seen Rasheed Wallace before, now you know why the people at Temple and Villanova had their hearts broken when he decided to come to North Carolina.
I'll tell you, Mike, he's so active. He really wants the basketball. He's getting great post position, moving so well without the ball, and such a dominant force on the defensive end as well.
And he lights it up when he scores, doesn't he?
We're going to take a look right now. Rasheed Wallace trying to get some post position against Elisman. Now watch him right here. Freeze it. Look at the great inside position. Now he's right here, and he's going to drop step, take the ball inside. He's got him right on his hip. Now there's the great entry by Calabria. Hello, Jam City. Now we're going to take another look at him. Look at him sealing down inside again. Now look at the angle, the agility and mobility. Now he's going to show that he can slide out on the baseline. Watch number 30. He catches it, the little jumper. 6 for 6 for Rasheed Wallace.
The halftime stats, North Carolina shooting over 53%. They are already number 3 in the United States. 3-point field goal, 7-4. But look at the free throws. North Carolina 7 out of 11. Georgia Tech did not go to the free throw line.
And that shows very, to me, the fact that they're very passive. Wallace, who had the big half. When you're 0 for 0, as you look at the numbers of Rasheed Wallace, that means you're not very active. You have to establish something. They're a donut team. They're playing without any post presence at all right now, Georgia Tech.
Forrest, Best, and Berry did not shoot the ball well in the first half. Georgia Tech has to have at least 2 of the 3 to play very well and have a chance to come back in this game.
James has got to pick up his intensity. Made a good defensive block. Stackhouse to start the half.
Best fouled as he went down the lane. McGinnis reached in, committed his second personal. Here's the numbers on the big 3. A combined 9 points. They shot only 4 of 16.
That really hurt. Shooting 25%. Like my math, 4 out of 16. I wonder if Chris Fowler's really excited about my math right now. 4 out of 16, 25%. I simply converted that to 1 for 4.
Very good.
Common denominator. Well, see that? Learn that mathematically.
1 out of 4 is about what Georgia Tech is doing. Elisman saves this one. Shot clock does not recycle. It's at 19. Forrest wheels into the lane. Nice move, but he couldn't get the shot to fall. McGinnis with the ball.
At least he drop stepped and he took the ball to the goal using his big body and strength.
There's the block inside. McGinnis got it back. Travis Best really got up in his face. McGinnis from the corner. Berry with a rebound. Tied up by Calabria. No whistle.
McGinnis has really given him a special dimension from the perimeter. He can shoot the jumper, though it's not going down tonight.
Here comes the break. 2-on-2. Best against McGinnis.
Oh,
what a shot.
What a sensational play. I mean, that's just acrobatic. Little Barishnikov in shorts.
Stackhouse had beaten the pack down court, but they couldn't see him. And Drew Berry able to knock it away, but he commits the foul.
When you talk about the great point guards in college basketball, you got to put Travis Best right up there with Damon Stoudemire, Tyus Edney, Allen Iverson becoming such a threat. There's the little reverse. What a job Iverson's doing. Once he learns a little bit, it's a better idea of a great shot. What a superstar he will be, but that'll come with experience.
Stackhouse cut off by Elisman. Early possessions critical for Georgia Tech to try to get back in this.
That's what happened last night. Kentucky and Florida thought made a little run at the end of the first half, and then getting to the second half, Kentucky just blew it away. Important now that Georgia Tech establishes and takes charge with a spurt.
Forrest had it knocked away as Berry
Yes, sir! And you know what, Mike? The second team, North Carolina's second team, beat the first team the other day. And could you believe it? A bunch of walk-ons? They had a fair player playing with him, though. His name was Michael. I got a feeling that Michael could take Phelps, Fowler, Vitale, and Patrick, and we'd have a shot against Wallace and Stackhouse.
Absolutely, especially if you didn't get the ball. Best with a miss, but there's the follow by Forrest. 48-34, the lead 14. Georgia Tech certainly playing with more intensity in the second half. And Wallace comes right back to answer.
You talk about an arsenal. I mean, he has so many weapons. He can shoot the jumper from 15. He can post inside.
Wallace is 7 for 7, 14 points. Best tries the no-look pass. Had it knocked out of bounds.
You talk about the great combinations in college basketball. You talk about a dynamic duo. Stackhouse right now trying to play Forrest. There's the quickness, the denial. Now he comes up with the ball, and it's up and away. And it's right now the elevator man, Jam City.
50-34. Berry looking inside. Instead goes to Harpering, who had the big first half.
North Carolina in the zone. There's another deflection.
Bad passing by Georgia Tech. They just put the ball at risk so often.
3-on-1. You got Stackhouse. Oh, he missed him. McGinnis missed him.
Did not do a good job on that break. Calabria. And McGinnis, 3 seconds. Somebody was 3 seconds.
Stackhouse a little frustrated. He knew he was wide open. He was sprinting in the left lane. Donald Williams missed him.
Virginia and Clemson, the winner of that game, will be in first place in the ACC.
South Carolina and Tennessee, I'll tell you right now, both coaches, Fogler and O'Neal, they will get it done. Beat them this year, but you're not going to beat them in the future.
Berry for 3. That cuts the lead to 13, 5 points for Drew Berry. It doesn't look like Georgia Tech is quite finished here in Chapel Hill.
That three-point shot has revolutionized basketball. You can get back in the game so quickly, Mike. It's the play of the 90s, the three-point shot.
Stackhouse for 3.
2 for 20 last year was Brick City from 3 for Stackhouse. 9 for 19 coming into this game. Oh! Hello!
Can Drew Berry get up?
Drew Berry, look at that, running the court.
The intensity on both ends has picked up in the second half. The lead is 14.
Every time Georgia Tech seems to be getting a spurt, they have an answer, North Carolina.
McGinnis for 3.
Pushed by Wallace. They caught him.
That'll be number 2 on Rasheed.
That three-point shot today in college basketball, if you have strong guard play and some people that can shoot the perimeter shot, you got a chance to win when you step on the floor. Look at Barry. There he is, exploding on a baseline. And there goes DB with a little jam. Look at the one hand. He's got the one hand jam.
Right in Wallace's face, and Best hits a 3.
He's got to start to think shot. Travis Best has got to think shot.
They're not dead. 8. They've cut the lead to 11.
Wallace wants it down inside. They missed him. Should have had a little bit earlier.
Calabria got it. Olismo with the block and gets it out to Berry. I don't know what Bobby Cremins said at halftime, but he got him fired up. Best for 3. Harpering.
Harpering is a soft competitor. He gets good inside position.
He's only 6'6", 202, but he's already gotten some big rebounds. And look at this. It's down to 9.
There's a lot more life in Georgia Tech. Remember, they've won the last 3 times head-to-head with North Carolina.
Down by 16 at the half. Stackhouse with a miss. 1 and out again for the Tar Heels.
That has not been achieved since 1975. Oh, I mean, Dean might have to think of a timeout. He might have to think of a timeout. He wants some motion.
Georgia Tech now the team on fire. 53-46. They've got a 16-point lead to 7, and they've scored the last 9.
Beating North Carolina down the floor.
And Olismo with a foul against Stackhouse. That'll be number 3 on Olismo. But the way North Carolina has shot free throws this year, not a bad play.
Exactly. Rather than give up the dunk. You know, Mike, Bobby Cremins has won the last 3 times against Dean Smith. The last time it was established where somebody's won 4 in a row or more was from 72 to 75. The Wolfpack, coached by Norm Sloan, and they had a fair guy at the small forward slot who I thought was the greatest small forward ever to play college basketball. Not the NBA, college basketball. David the Skywalker Thompson.
He was the most dominant small forward I ever saw. And their game against Maryland, a lot of people still contend was the greatest college basketball game ever played.
And that's when you had to win your league to be able to win the tournament to get into the NCAA tournament.
Here's the story with North Carolina tonight. 2/3. That's a little bit better than their season's average, which is last in the ACC. We've got a timeout. 14:52 to go in this game, but Carolina's lead has been whittled to 9. North Carolina 55-46 over Georgia Tech. 14:52 to go in the ball game here from Chapel Hill. Coming down from 16 behind. And the game summary, Georgia Tech now 6 out of 14 from three-point range. Carolina 8 out of 18. And the story has been Berry, Best, and Forrest. In the second half, they already have 10 points combined. In the first half total, they had 9, and we've only played 5 minutes and 8 seconds in the second half.
I think Bobby Cremins has really lit into them at halftime about their effort and their energy, because I didn't think in the first half they played with the kind of enthusiasm and fire that they're playing now. Amazing things can happen, Mike, when you play with emotion.
And when your coach can get you in a locker room for 15 minutes.
Digger was a master of that at Notre Dame. I mean, he'd play that Irish tradition and put on the carnation.
Best misses the 3. kept alive, but here comes Carolina on a 3-on-2, now a 3-on-3 break.
First guy down the floor, Rasheed Wallace, but they expected that pass, and Forrest stepped right in the lane.
Great anticipation by Forrest.
He's playing a lot better defense, and Forrest was wide open, and they missed him. Right down the gut of the defense. You got to be able to see the big fella.
They got him here against Zwicker, the 7-2 pivot man, and Zwicker got a piece of it. I think Forrest got lucky on that one. Zwicker looked like he went straight up.
Bobby Cremins has put together some great numbers since taking over. This is 14th year. I mean, he's won 265 games, 74% of his games. I mean, you take a look, 9 of the last 10 NCAA tournaments, NCAA Final Four in 1990, lost to the Running Rebels, dominated that year, beat the Doochies easy. And what about a speedy recovery for Mike Krzyzewski? They think he'll be out several weeks, and we wish you nothing but the best, Michael.
You know, I was so buried in football, I didn't even realize he had to have back surgery. And I feel
October 22nd it happened.
I feel so badly for him. Our best wishes go out to him. This is Maddox. Not much of a scorer, or at least they didn't expect many points of him, but he's given him some physical presence inside.
Played at Mays High School out in the Atlanta area. Really got a lot of hype as a freshman and sophomore. They take a look at him this year. Both guys harboring the Maddox, averaging double figures. Tonight they put 22 on a board between them.
And Maddox has been in double figures 10 of the 13 games, even though he now comes off the bench exclusively.
Word is that he did not have a great senior year. Got a little bit bored on a high school level, but has picked it up here at Georgia Tech. And they needed his presence after losing Marty Spuro, who was freshman of the year in his conference 2 years ago.
This could make it 6, and a bad shot by Forrest.
I mean, you put it really mildly, a bad shot.
I mean, that's a jump hook from the waist.
You don't expect that from your senior, your dominant force inside.
Especially after you've made this much of a comeback. Best nearly with the steal against McGinnis, and now Maddox knocks it out of bounds, and Georgia Tech really hustling on defense.
Well, right now, Georgia Tech, Bobby Cremins knows you got to make a real run right here with Wallace on that sideline. You got to take the ball inside and let Zwicker have to prove himself.
He's had some good minutes. I think the Carolina fans have been surprised about how well he has played.
He's really worked hard to be able to give him some positive. There's a little push right there.
Best knocked it away, and Landry had to foul him to keep him from getting the uncontested layup. And again, outstanding defense by Georgia Tech. They've really turned it up a couple of notches.
Landry's playing a little bit hurt as well. He's got an ankle problem.
He turned down some Division I offers to come to North Carolina as a walk-on because he wanted to play for that man.
He's a true definition of a student athlete.
8-point lead, Best in the lane, dishes it off. He'll get a foul on the way in. Let's see who picks it up. And now the Carolina fans are on their feet, and Dean Smith didn't like the call.
I'll tell you what great point guards Bobby Cremins has had. Dean Smith's had a share also, but you think about Mark Price, you think about Kenny Anderson, Travis Best, and now they get Stephon Marbury.
Do you know what Mark Price and Bobby Cremins did? They donated $100,000 to the renovation project at the Coliseum. Bobby donated $100,000, and Mark Price said he would match it. Now, I think that's wonderful.
I think it's fantastic. I had heard that Bobby did that, and I really think that he should be saluted. He has great love for the university.
Best for 3, and they have cut the lead to 5 from 16.
And he looks at Barry, he said, I'm on fire. The B&B boys are starting to smell it. Remember, they've won 3 in a row. They're not intimidated by the Carolina Blue.
And every time they beat them, North Carolina was number 1. This week, they are number 4 in the polls.
That's just a superb move. Great first step. So reminiscent his ability of a Michael Jordan. Not that he's a Michael. There's only one Michael, but he has that great first step.
Stackhouse has 16. Best with the miss. Carolina back the other way. Landry feeds inside to Stackhouse again.
Explosive. I mean, absolutely a time bomb who can explode at any moment. Jerry Stackhouse loves the baseline.
North Carolina with the answer to a streak, and here's Barry back the other way. Got the roll.
He better make that count because they were going to run it right down the gut. Bring the ball up the court quickly.
North Carolina increases the tempo. Calabria goes down the lane, and he's fouled.
North Carolina does such a superb job of running the ball up the sideline and then flaring the three-point line. You know, if you talk to Dean Smith, he's so proud of Roy Williams and what he's achieved at Kansas. I mean, he looks at Roy and he runs that system, and there's Stackhouse. They had a great win over Missouri, out Missouri, tremendous backcourt play.
Wallace comes back in the game. I remember Dean's line about Roy Williams a couple of years ago. He says, heck, they run our offense better than we do.
I tell you, Roy has done a marvelous job in Kansas. Just a marvelous job. And this year, in I want to say rebuilding, but lost a lot of key players, and yet they're one of the top 5 in America.
Lead is 7. That was a non-shooting foul. 3 against Georgia Tech in this half, 5 against Carolina.
The great programs don't rebuild. They just reload.
Donald Williams, who had the big first half, in and out on that one. Barry with a rebound. He'll push it. Always has the head up. Best is hot. McGinnis is on him.
They should set some screens for Best. Somebody's going to come and lay a high screen.
He wants McGinnis one-on-one, and McGinnis was certainly up to it in the first half. Shot clock at 11.
He wants the screen. See, at times he dominates the ball, and people have a tendency to stand, and they watch, and they become the Kodak man. Everybody takes his picture.
Shot clock down to 2, and they took it away. McGinnis, great defense. 3-on-1.
Oh, he's explosive. Yes, sir. Hello, America. This guy is flat out a superstar. He is one of the special players in America. Jerry Stackhouse, a Rolls Roycer. Solid goal.
Stackhouse has 20. The lead is back to 9, and the crowd on its feet.
Wow, I love him, Mike. He's so explosive, so exciting.
Bobby Cremins asked for a timeout. 11 minutes to go. The lead, 9 for North Carolina. Number 4 over number 22. All right, thank you, Chris. And as you saw, Clemson has not had the greatest of luck in Charlottesville. Here, North Carolina is leading by 9. Jerry Stackhouse has 20 points. He's hit 8 out of 16 shots from the floor, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. And 11 of the last 15 here in the second half.
He's got that great bounce, Mike, off the floor. He really runs the court exceptionally well. He's got that great lift. He uses the entire floor, 94 feet, Jerry Stackhouse. The way he gets up and down the court, plus with post on a box.
Barry is out right now. He'll get a rest. Maddox and Harpering on the floor at the same time. Good feed to fourth, and he's fouled by Stackhouse.
See, I think you got to make Stackhouse play defense to try and wear him down a little bit and not let him concentrate on the offensive end. Look at the comparison here, Mike, between Michael Jordan and Stackhouse as freshmen themselves.
You know, I understand why people want to put numbers against each other like that, but I think it's a little bit unfair. I think it's unfair to Michael. I think it's unfair to Stackhouse.
Well, you know, numbers become misleading unless you look at the personnel you're playing with. Certainly Michael Jordan in that era, playing with a Sam Perkins and playing with some of his people that had a lot more balance. Michael just exploded when he went to the NBA level. He became another kind of player in another world.
Three-pointer out of the corner won't go. Here comes Carolina.
He's got Stackhouse.
Now he's got Wallace, and Wallace couldn't hold it.
He had Stackhouse for the layup. I'll tell you something. People are going to think I'm crazy when I say this. There's no one that loves Michael Jordan more than I do as a player. But I have seen some things early in the career of Jerry Stackhouse that he does that Michael didn't do much better as a young player. But as the future went on, Michael just became such a total dominant force.
Forrest threw the last one away. Here comes Calabria back the other way to Stackhouse. Michael was here this weekend.
Yes, he played, as we talked about earlier, with the blue team against the white team, and they beat him.
Wallace double clutch from the baseline. Not a good shot. And another rebound for Hartford.
Michael became the greatest player ever to lace him up. I don't think it's even debatable.
Best kicks it outside the Maddox. Georgia Tech's going to drive for a while. The lead remains at 9.
See, they're going to set some screens for Best. Get some shots for Travis Best.
Forrest working on Wallace with the left hand. It won't go. Knocked out of bounds. Out to North Carolina. Coming up next Wednesday, the Pitt Panthers, who had that early lead tonight against the Wildcats of Villanova. That's 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. And then we'll be back here at the Dean Smith Center, where the Tar Heels will take on the Virginia Cavaliers, who are off to a good start and leading Clemson right now in the race for first place in the ACC.
You know, Pittsburgh with that early lead, jumping up 10 on Connecticut. A long, long way to go. Ralph Willard probably wishes that baby was over with.
Calabria wide open for the shot. Tried to pass it inside and turned it over instead. Barry for 3. And Georgia Tech has gone cold after that hot streak.
See, I think right now you got to recognize that Stackhouse is guarding Forrest, and you got to make Stackhouse play D.
Calabria the other way, but Wallace with another monster jam.
He loves hanging around that basket. I think Wallace hurt his back.
I think he did too. He grabbed like where his right kidney would be.
Now.
I think he may have hurt himself on that. Barry to the baseline. Best. Won't go. Offensive rebound, Forrest.
Great hands. He's taking the ball a little bit stronger to the basket. His teammates have to recognize that Stackhouse is guarding him. Stackhouse is not a great defensive player. Oh, what a move! What a move!
And then he missed the shot. But what, you're right. What an absolute unbelievable move.
Can't describe that move. I mean, that move was just incredible. That is a Michael Jordan kind of move down in the post. Spin, 360, use the left hand. Could have been interference up there on that cylinder. Dean Smith was calling for it. 20 points, 4 rebounds.
I don't think anybody on the North Carolina bench realizes that Wallace may have hurt himself.
He was holding his back, Mike. You and I were able to notice that he grabbed his back.
Of course, if he is hurt, he ought to go over there and tell him.
He wants the ball right now. Looks like he's healthy now. He wants it down in deep. He's begging for the basketball.
John Hook missed it, and then he commits the foul over the back of Wallace.
That's been one of the problems in his career. Getting into foul trouble, little silly fouls here and there. And that could be an Achilles heel later in the year when you got to win 6 in a row at tournament time.
Well, it's 3 on Wallace and 3 on Stackhouse. And as you pointed out earlier, once you get past those two guys, you're not exactly talking about All-Americans coming off the bench in the big man spot.
Not like they used to have. They were such a deep basketball team. Here he is down inside. You know, you could probably have too much depth if there's such a thing. And I thought last year that might have been a problem.
I did too.
They were so deep. They had Salvadori. There's a look at Pat Sullivan. I hope he gets a 6th year. He told me right now he has no pain, but he can't bend, and he certainly can't. He's not active at all. And he's a great kid.
He's going to start swimming, and that'll be the first step in his rehabilitation. They say there is an outside chance he may be able to come back and play this year, but he had to have disc surgery, and he redshirted last year because there was so much talent on the team. Come back this year when he would have a chance to play more, and all once he can. Forrest with a great rebound, and then he threw it away. Now he gets the steal.
Great
Forrest! What a great play! Holy cow, what an effort by Forrest!
James Forrest, and that can be contagious when you get your star player to get on a deck and get on a floor that can give you a great lift. They're only down 6, and with Wallace having 3, I would take it right to Wallace in the next possession.
63-57. Here's a whistle and a foul inside, holding on Harpring. That'll be his 3rd.
Sometimes, Mike, as you just talked about depth, when you have 2 stars and they both have 3, you yo-yo them. You rotate one play, one on the sideline in case one gets the 4th.
Big second half for Georgia Tech. Forrest with a great effort, and his effort cut it to 6. 7:48 to go from Chapel Hill. Georgia Tech trailing North Carolina 63-57. The last 3 times these teams met, North Carolina was ranked number 1 each time, and each time Georgia Tech was able to win by 2, by 20 in Atlanta, and then back here in Chapel Hill last February by 7. Forrest and Best have had great games against this team, and they are leading a second-half comeback.
And Fred Vincent had a tremendous game last year, a guy that they didn't expect to have that kind of game. He knocked down 8 threes at a career game.
He couldn't miss that night.
See, right there, they missed Wallace. He had the post position. He had at least been playing from behind.
Calabria and Williams have been very quiet in the second half. That's Donald Williams now with 11.
King Donald comes up with the big deuce.
65-57, the lead back to 8.
He had that shoulder injury and that foot injury last year, curtailed his effectiveness after a brilliant start in his first 10 games, Donald Williams. See, right now, set a screen for Best. He needs some help, needs a screen.
And he is fouled by McGinnis. That's 3 on McGinnis. So he has 3, Wallace has 3, Stackhouse with 3, and Pierce Landry off the bench with 3 for North Carolina. And here comes Zwicker.
We're going to watch McGinnis playing defense right now, trying to check Best. Best is also a great defensive player. Now we're going to see the reaching, the grab, and he's going to get the hold on the arm. Every play says, I just about touched him. Should be a jump ball. Look, he wants to be a referee.
Wallace is going to get arrested. Zwicker comes in, and here is Travis Best, the #1 free throw shooter in the ACC, and he misses the first of a 1-and-1.
And he's really normally automatic on that line.
86.4 for the year, 45 of his last 49 free throws coming in.
Little 1-on-1 right here. Forrest against Stackhouse.
Forrest did a nice job on him. Wouldn't let him get the bucket. Then gets the outlet pass. Barry for 3. Big shot.
He's got that rotation. Squares the body. Little MBN. Nothing but nylon. They're only down 5, baby.
14 points for Drew Barry, who has the second-best long-range percentage in the ACC behind only Calabria.
Travis Best, a great defensive player. He's making McGinnis become a windshield man. Go sideline to sideline, east-west rather than north-south.
Loose ball out of bounds to North Carolina. Wallace set to check back in with 6:30 to go in the game.
You really would like your guy, your point guard, to go north to south and really penetrate and break down the defense. As we look at Barry running to the three-point line, now he's very comfortable. He's in a rhythm. Nobody with a hand on him, wide open. I was knocking that down today at the shoot-around against our producer, Timmy C. Corrigan.
I've seen you shoot.
Come on, you're looking at me.
Yes, talk about a standstill shooter.
I got beat yesterday, embarrassed in front of the Florida crowd by a fair shooter. Kyle Macy represented Kentucky.
McGinnis goes baseline and arcs it over the defense. 67-60 Carolina.
McGinnis certainly has been a real solid player, stepping in for Phelps this year at that point guard slot.
Barry for three, maybe out of his range.
Yeah, too deep.
Forrest, offensive rebound, the bucket counts, and he's fouled. Let's see who gets the foul.
I don't think they're looking for James Forrest enough. He's getting his points off the offensive glass. They're not establishing him at all as an option number one in their offensive set.
It was Zwicker, his second.
I mean, there's a long range. I mean, that's an area code jumper. That's downtown. I mean, that's from out of Charlotte, baby. And there's James Forrest. Should be the double dip man. The double dipper gets it up there. Look at Bobby Cremins. He said, come on, Travis, take me to the winner's circle. Please, Travis, I need another win. I want 266, Travis. We even have Furman Fisher here, the great writer from Atlanta. This is a big game. Help me out. Cremins' message the best.
This is as close as Georgia Tech has been since early in the ball game. 6 minutes left. 67-63. Williams with a pull-up three. Forrest with another rebound. Barry was ahead of the pack. Best didn't see it. Barry, fake the three.
Oh, nice dump inside.
Forrest, blocked by Wallace. Harpering, blocked by Wallace.
Wallace, he repeats it.
Oh, man.
He said, why not another one? Try to bring it in here. What a dimension, the shot block.
4 blocked shots. The shot clock is down to 14. Forrest jump hook.
He said, you're not going to get that one, Rasheed. I'm going to throw up the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Forrest,
hook.
Forrest has 13. The lead has been cut to 2.
See how he's making McGinnis pick up his dribble. Best, such a tough defensive player.
Keep in mind, the halftime lead for Carolina was 16. Stackhouse fouled as he wheels into the lane.
He really can get to the free throw line. He's so tough to handle once he touches the rock down deep. If he can sit in a post and seal you and catch the ball, he's going to either score or get fouled.
The foul on Forrest was his second.
Dean Smith has to certainly be happy with the effort here of Rasheed Wallace. We're going to watch the first rejection. He said, I'm an eraser. I'm not going to allow you to score. Get out of here, young man. Don't bring it to me. Dean Smith, try this out. 19 consecutive NCAA berths. 13 times to the Final 8, 12 ACC tournament titles, 17 ACC first place finishes. I mean, are you serious? 800, I mean, it's incredible. 812 W's?
His record often looks like a misprint. It's so incredible. Free throw will not go for the second one. 68-65. Georgia Tech, 120-footer away from tying this game.
Carolina's got to try to establish some defense right here. They got Wallace playing Forrest. I'll bring it to Forrest. Trying to take it at Wallace, who's got 3.
Barry, a no-look pass, and he just airmailed it past Maddox. And he threw it to the freshman again. He said, that's where I'm getting my turnovers, throwing the ball to the freshman. Bobby Cremins wanted to shoot it.
Yeah, they really are concerned about the turnover ratio because they know he's such a great passer. But there he is trying to make that spectacular pass, and the freshman doesn't anticipate.
And that was a trip where they needed a bucket. That would have given them yet another lift.
See, I think in that possession, they had to go right at James Forrest to really make him take the ball strong up at Wallace. Oh, what a nice look.
Calabria with a double clutch inside, and he's fouled.
Calabria gets fouled. Carolina sets up an excellent triangle. The ball is reversed by a touch pass by Wallace to Stackhouse, who then kicks it to Calabria.
Foul was on Harpering. That's his 4th.
There it is inside. Now look at Wallace right here. Going to seal. He's going to pop it up here. Right here. Right here. He's going to get it. Freeze it. And there's the touch pass. See how he's already anticipating? And now he's going to drive it.
They try to get it to Wallace, and they turn it over.
See, right now, I bring it to James Forrest. I back it up. I I backed it up and I slide James in. I said, James, show us why you're a super. Go inside and run it.
He's being guarded by Wallace, who has the three personals.
Two-man game, and now slide him inside.
Wide open, Harpering. Then he gets it to fourth.
That's where you want to bring the ball to the big fella. See, Wallace was not even challenging him with 3 fouls.
68-67. The last time this game was tied was at 18.
Remember, the last loss in the last 34 games here was Georgia Tech beating North Carolina.
Calabria saved by McGinnis.
They don't lose too often at the Dean Dome.
They have squandered a 16-point lead, and I think this foul is going to be called on Travis Best. It'll be a 1-and-1. That was the 17th foul against Georgia Tech. And Best didn't like the call either.
We're going to watch right now. Forrest inside. Wallace checking Forrest. Wallace has 3. He's going to play him a little soft here. There's Forrest, 34, catches the ball. Wallace a little passive in that defensive sequence, and Forrest comes up with the deuce.
McGinnis will go to the line. These are big free throws. He's hit 2 out of 3 from the line tonight. He got the bounce.
He gets the Carolina bounce. He played at Oak Hill Academy along with Jerry Stackhouse, where they produced so many super players.
Indiana with a lead on Michigan State. They've been so tough at home.
Won 49 in a row. People are really thinking that this is the day that they can get beat by the backcourt of Rexford and Snow, but I don't believe it. Not Bloomington.
McGinnis makes them both. North Carolina clinging to a 3-point lead. 70-67, 3:49 left. Felipe Lopez in a disappointing start for the season for both of those ball clubs, but not for these. 70-67, Carolina by 3. In the first half, the big 3 were held to 9 points. Barry Best and Forrest. Second half, they have scored 31 to key this huge comeback. They were down by 16.
Anytime you have a threat on the floor like a Best, and then you add the threat of Barry in the inside game of Forrest, you can get back a little double team. Should be able to reverse the ball and spot the open man, bring it to the other side of the floor, away from the double team. See, right now they got Stackhouse playing Forrest.
This is Maddox, the freshman.
You got to know your #1 option. Every possession becomes big here. It's got to be a lot of Best, a lot of Barry, and a lot of Forrest.
Harpering shot clock is in 6. Somebody's got to make the play himself. Harpering from the corner for 3. And out of bounds to North Carolina. And Dick, the 2 out of 3 trips, when they had time to set up a shot, they didn't do it.
I really have a tough buy in the fact that James Forrest doesn't touch the ball in that possession. He's got the size advantage, the experience. Jerry Stackhouse is not a great defender, and I think you got to attack him with your #1 option late in the game.
Williams looking inside for Wallace. Forrest was fronting him. He got him to the baseline and scored.
They go to their #1 option on the interior, Rasheed Wallace.
Wallace has 20. The lead is back to 5 with 2:49 to go.
That's just intelligent basketball, getting the ball to the #1 guy. See, right now it's got to be the Best Forrest show, and Barry a little bit on the perimeter.
Best with a pull-up won't go. Wallace with a rebound.
North Carolina making the big plays in the last 2 possessions, Mike.
Where the set offense has not been kind to Georgia Tech.
See, McGinnis right now, Best does a great job making him go east to west and takes away his north-south penetration.
Carolina spreading the floor a little bit with 2:20 left and a 5-point lead.
Getting a little of their motion game. Dean Smith signaling, let's get into a little motion, a little movement.
Shot clock at 8.
See, Best doesn't allow him to beat him with the dribble. Stays between him and the basket.
Tough shot.
That is an absolute tough shot because Travis Best stayed between McGinnis and the basket defensively. Beat him to the spot. Cremins gets the timeout.
The lead grows to 7 at 74-67. Only 1:59 to go.
Mike, take a look at the high percentage offense. Look how he's sealing off right here. See, I believe right here defensively, you got to rotate and give help to Mr. Forrest so you can force him to make the pass as opposed to get the little shot on the drop step and spin move. Wallace gets that great post position. There's the nice rotation and gets the big news. Then they spread the court, go to a little one-on-one maneuver. Now, Best played him really tough here. I mean, this is a tough shot. As you said, Mike, that's almost an impossible shot, but he converts it. McGinnis.
Dean Smith said that Jeff McGinnis came into the ACC with good physical skills. He played good defense. What has really improved on his part, the decisions he has made as the point guard.
I thought he loves getting to PT now because playing behind Phelps last year. You know, you had Phelps, Montross, Salvadori,
sure,
basketball team. Unbelievable personnel, and Reese
and Brian Reese.
They were really so deep, and I think that created a real problem in terms of chemistry. And basketball is so important to have chemistry and a team, real passion for one another.
Wallace, Stackhouse, and McInnes have 26. North Carolina's 28 in the second half.
Go to a 2-3. They like to trap out of this 2-3, out of the timeout. Got to get into the gaps. The wing should have some gaps.
Georgia Tech has to hit its shots here. Berry from downtown. Loose ball. Here comes Stackhouse.
The whole difference in this game right now, as we see the foul on Stackhouse, has been the decision-making process in the last 3 possessions.
Drew Berry commits his 3rd personal, and Stackhouse will go to the line.
Bobby Cremins very loose today at the shoot-around. Great personality. What an amazing job he has done at Georgia Tech. He's been a Frank Lloyd right. Look at Forrest right here. Wide open. They miss him. I mean, he's wide open. He's wide open. Nobody's even guarding him. I mean, he's wide open, and he doesn't touch the ball. I don't buy it.
Stackhouse has hit 4 out of 6. He's the best free throw shooter among the starters, but he missed that one. The lead is 7. Georgia Tech needs to score every possession. Hartring double clutch. Couldn't get it to go. Kept it alive. And taken down by Wallace.
Whoa! Jerry Stackhouse right in our lap here. Number 42 comes over.
They tried to give us a souvenir here. Georgia Tech just withering pressure to get him to throw it away.
They did a great job pinching the rebounder. That's what we call pinching the rebounder. There's the 2-3.
74-67. They have got to score. A minute 12 to go in the game. They need 3 possessions. Set shot out of the corner. Maddox hits a 3.
Maddox has that kind of range. He could knock down that 3 for a big player.
He has 11 at 74-7. Here's the foul on Berry. He'll send Donald Williams to the line. That's 4 on Drew Berry.
You know, Donald Williams was a great free throw shooter. In his first 10 games prior to his injury, he was shooting 84%. After those 10 games, he's been shooting 65% from the free throw line. In fact, his numbers have really dropped after the injury that he had to his foot and his shoulder.
And Dick, as you pointed out earlier, he was going so well, shooting the ball so brilliantly. Then he had a foot injury, had tendonitis in his foot, then had the shoulder injury, and his shooting touches really never come back except in spurts.
Well, you know, he shot 20 points a game in his first 10 games, 53%. 44% from three-point range. In the last 26 games, he's been 11.9 a game, 35% from field goal range, 28% from three-point land, and 65%. I got those numbers from Gary McCann, the fine writer from out of Greensboro.
These were big free throws here, 1 out of 2, and then they throw it away. Donald Williams with the interception. Berry can't foul him because he has 4, so Maddox reaches in.
They spread the floor. Donald brings the ball back out. Life in the ACC. I mean, teams are going to beat on each other. I cannot believe the score, Pittsburgh and Connecticut, up by 19. I mean, that is just wacky. Just like yesterday, St. Bonaventure challenging Massachusetts.
3 on Maddox. And now Williams will go back to the line for 2. 12 points tonight, 1 out of 2 from the line. It's still a 2-possession game at this point. 6-point lead with 51.8 seconds to go.
Donald Williams, such a big player, so important to this basketball team. As we look at the free throw line, 3 for 6 for Georgia Tech, not establishing anything inside, 14 for 21. And you can credit that to the really presence of Rasheed Wallace that teams have to play on the perimeter. It's a 2-possession game.
Again, only 1 out of 2. Forrest will lean into one, missed the shot, tips it outside. That might do it. Williams is fouled, and Georgia Tech, in 4 or 5 straight possessions, came down needing a big bucket and just couldn't get it.
I thought they made a gallant effort to get back in this game when it looked like they were going to be blown out. They made a superb effort.
Cut a 16-point lead to 1. And Dick, you mentioned the job that Bobby Cremins has done, and people have short-term memory. I go back to the time when Georgia Tech hired Bobby Cremins. They had nothing. I mean, I think they had less than nothing, and he built that from scratch.
I think they were 3-24 at the time under Dwayne Morrison, who's we say now. Great trivia question. What is he doing? He's a caddy for J.C. Snead, a great golfer. But Bobby Cremins has been one of the Frank Lloyd Wrights of college basketball, along with a John Calipari, a John Chaney, John Thompson, how he built that program at Georgetown.
Big free throws for Williams. Now it's a 3-possession game. Georgia Tech can't afford to do anything but shoot the threes.
Well, you just want to make sure you don't foul right now to stop the clock if you're North Carolina.
Best goes down the line and misses a layup.
And that was the presence again of Rasheed Wallace on the interior. Great starting five. They're getting a lot of minutes now. The question is, can they endure the pressure they're going to face in the ACC for the entire year? As we look again at Michelangelo, Dean Smith. Well, he can dress too. He can flat out dress. I was teasing him before the game about his threads. I'm jealous. I want his hand-me-downs. I want his hand-me-downs.
Well, this will be his 813th win. He's a pretty classy guy.
I think he's got a fair career. I mean, he's got a chance to make it.
Well, you were sitting over there beside him earlier, and one of the photographers came by and took a picture, and they said, what should the caption be? Two coaching legends. What do you have, about 900 wins between you?
Oh, about 860.
Well, I'm giving you more credit than you deserve.
Hey, I got a lot to win TV. 16 years I've been undefeated. Haven't lost a game.
Give Coach Smith about 2.5 years, and he should have the all-time record. And Carolina may have wrapped it up here. They're 80-70 with 33.5 seconds to go.
I think the bus driver just started the engine. He's warmed up the bus. Georgia Tech's ready to go home because this baby is history. It's academic.
Calabria is fouled by Harpring, and that'll get Harpring out of the ball game. That's his 5th. I'll tell you what, Georgia Tech really showed me a lot here in the second half, and then Carolina really responded to the huge run after they had cut a 16-point lead to 1. Miami St. John's following our broadcast, and we only have 24.5 seconds to go from the Dean Smith Center. I invite you to stay tuned for that one.
I saw a great performance last night by Kentucky. They were absolutely sensational. They did everything right, a great ball movement. Brad Nessler and I were so impressed with the way they played against Florida. St. John's had a good young team, Mike. They really do. They'll struggle a little bit this year because they are so young. But coming up in that next game, Lopez and Zendon Hamilton. Turnover right here.
This is going to send North Carolina to 11-1 on the year, 2-1 in the ACC. Stackhouse and Wallace both had monster nights tonight. Georgia Tech will fall to 8-5, 1-2 in the conference.
I'll tell you, it's pretty good when you got a third option like a Donald Williams and you got a Stackhouse and Rasheed. That's number 1 and 2. Hello, why not put the exclamation point? And now he's doing a little dance. Look at Rasheed. He's skipping. He's dancing. He's gliding. He's sliding. He's gloating.
84-7. Hodge comes in and hits a 3.
He's from out of Florida.
Mentioned his 9 freshman.
Stackhouse says anything you can do, I can do better.
4.5 seconds to go. Forrest will get the uncontested layup.
I can even make that layup. I can make that layup.
And that's it from the Dean Smith Center. Rasheed Wallace and Jerry Stackhouse dominate inside. North Carolina goes to 11-1 as North Carolina beats Georgia Tech 86-75. And Dick, when North Carolina gets the outside shooting the way they did in the first half, when Williams and Calabria have even decent shooting nights, this team is going to be very tough to beat.
If they can keep their starting 5 intact, they could really dodge the bullet of an injury, keep them healthy, stay out of foul trouble. Very difficult to beat. But I think in the long run, that is really a problem when you're not super deep, because this team is very thin, but they're outstanding.
Final again, Carolina by 11 over Georgia Tech. Thanks for watching, everybody. For Dick Vitale, this is